June 1st is just around the corner, and that day may be when Julio Jones finds a new team, as the Falcons may pursue a trade to help clear up some cap space. My name's Donald Lamb, and welcome to Everything Football. Today we're going to be talking possible trades of Julio Jones and my 5 teams that I think could use him more than every other team in the NFL. Granted, Julio Jones can make any NFL team that much better, but we're just going to stick with 5 for this video. Leave down in the comments what teams that you think are on your landing spot for Julio. I'm interested to see what the NFL community thinks is going to happen with this potential trade. Now, if any of you guys are kind of late to the news or anything, the Falcons need to open up some cap space, and potential trade rumors have been talking about either Julio Jones or Matt Ryan potentially being traded after June 1st. Some people have suggested that possibly trading Matt Ryan and looking for another quarterback could be a play here. I don't really see that as a possibility, because if you look at Matt Ryan, although the Falcons haven't been successful as a team, Matt Ryan as a quarterback has been pretty successful. Over the last decade, he's been one of the top 10 quarterbacks every season, and for the past 8 seasons, or 8 of those seasons out of the 10, he's been in the top 5 for passing yards. His touchdowns and interception ratios have been kind of varied throughout the years, but I think he is still an elite quarterback, and the Falcons should just run him as long as he can go. I don't think he's going to slow down anytime soon. I think he has potentially like maybe 4 or 5 more years where he can be very productive, maybe more if he can stay healthy. We'll see how that pans out in the future, but I really think the Falcons should stay with Matt Ryan and look toward trading Julio. It also helps that the Falcons drafted Kyle Pitts at the number 4 overall pick. Granted, Julio Jones isn't a talent you can replicate, but maybe he can fill that gap. And also, Calvin Ridley has stepped up over the last season to potentially become their new number 1 receiver. He's put up a lot of yards, he's made a lot of big plays, and I think it's a good direction where the Falcons can go. Now, you could be asking, if you don't know, why wait until after June 1st, or why is June 1st important? So here's kind of the breakdown how the finances work for this deadline. If the Falcons were to trade Julio before June 1st, they would encounter a $23 million just dead cap space, so they'd be losing $23 million. However, if they trade him after June 1st, they will save $15 million. So it's a pretty big differential between the two, and that's why a trade probably won't happen until after June 1st. So any team reaching out to trade for Julio will probably take on his contract for the base salary was 15.3, and my list of teams that I've kind of picked for this top 5 list are based on their salary cap room and potential trades they can make to increase their salary cap to get Julio Jones in the door. So here's top 5, not in a particular order. I'm just going in the kind of list I made. And the first team that I dove into doing some research were the Detroit Lions. Now, everyone knows Detroit is where your career goes to die. You can put all the talent in that city on that team, and they don't go anywhere. And it's hard to see good players' potential getting wasted there. So as a football fan, I would hate to see Julio go to Detroit, because I feel like his career would be over at that point, and he'd probably just want to retire and just stop playing. I feel like Detroit's where you lose the love of the game if you're a football player. But Detroit got a lot of draft picks when they decided to trade Stafford to LA for Goff, and I believe it was a first round in 2022 and a first round in 2023. I believe there was one other pick in there involved in that whole trade. But they have plenty of draft picks to trade. They have the cap space to do it. Also, another note is that Detroit pretty much got rid of all their receivers. Marvin Jones is now in Jacksonville. They traded Galladay to New York Giants. Other receivers they have, I don't even really know off the top of my head. If you didn't take a receiver in the draft and you got Sewell at left tackle, okay, you're protecting Goff now. Now give him some weapons. And I think Julio would be perfect. If they have the money, they might as well go get an elite talent at that position to at least give Goff something. They can potentially like maybe get some younger guys from other teams through trading, maybe free agency, that you might be able to pick somebody up or whatnot. But I really think Julio would be a good move for Detroit. Next team, they probably don't need a wide receiver, but I would just suggest it because of their division, the difficulty it's going to be for them to do anything for like the near future, and that is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. They just drafted Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow's former teammate in LSU. They've got Tyler Boyd, I think, for another couple of years, and they have T. Higgins drafted in the previous year. They've got some decent talent at receiver already. I think they have a few more players at that position, but if they're not going to make a push to at least give Burrow more protection, at least add to his arsenal of choices he has at wide receiver. And with their division being against the Steelers, the Browns, who have proven that they are a team to look out for, let's see if they can continue that. And the Ravens, who have, I think, very good potential, but just have not gotten to that next level they need to get to. Being in that division, you need as much as you can get right now. They've got the cap space to do it. If they need to trade draft picks, they have all their originals. They haven't traded any of their picks away for anybody of yet, so they still have that to kind of work with. Back to the younger guys like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, it gives them a elite veteran to learn from, and hopefully that will kind of increase or accelerate their learning process. I think that'd be big for Cincinnati, and I could definitely see them making some kind of push toward it. The third team is the New York Jets. Zach Wilson just got drafted, so he's going to be their starter right out the gate. What better way or what better opportunity for him to be a QB in the league than to have one of the best receivers in the league? Jamison Crowder is probably the Jets' most experienced receiver, I would assume, and his contract's up at the end of the year. Granted, the Jets already have enough cap space, but if they wanted to look into trading Crowder after June 1st, that would free up an additional $10 million. It would definitely be a big step for that organization, as much struggle as they have been in the last who knows how long the Jets have been so bad. Denzel Mims seems like he had some potential last season. I don't think he got enough opportunity to really show everything. They also just signed Corey Davis from the Titans, so another receiver that could more depth they've added, but I still think they could definitely go after Julio with the draft picks they have. I don't think they could trade Crowder to the Falcons because the Falcons cap so bad right now. I'm sure there's a team in the league that could use a decent veteran wide receiver, and they could trade Crowder for whatever. Bring in Julio. I think it'd be a good trade-off. Those three teams kind of need as much help as they can get, like as soon as they can get it, you know what I mean? The last two teams are going to be playoff contending teams that didn't make it the distance, and having Julio could possibly change that for their near future. First team we want to talk about is the Packers. Now, obviously, if you guys have been paying attention to any kind of football media, you guys know that Aaron Rodgers is unhappy. He's looking to get traded. I think he's proclaimed that he doesn't want to play if he's going to be on the Packers next season. He might sit out. Here's the thing, though. After June 1st, if they trade Rodgers, it would save $23 million in cap space. Talks are he's been negotiating with Denver. I don't know how deep that conversation has gotten. I don't know if they're talking or just working out details in a contract. A lot of sources are saying Denver is going to be the team that will probably get Rodgers if he moves on. They just signed Blake Bortles, I believe, which, granted, I mean, that's nothing really special. If anything, I think they're just drafting someone that has time in the league to back up Jordan Love, because Jordan Love, I think, is probably going to be the starter next season. Maybe not. We'll see. I don't know what their QB situation is going to be, but whoever is going to be QBing, what better than having Devontae Adams, who has proven one of the best receivers right now in the league over the last couple of seasons, pairing him up with Julio Jones. Having that talent could possibly put you further in the playoffs. They made the NFC Championship last year. Granted, I think in that game, their defense kind of let them down more than the offense. If they can just have a decent enough defense just to get some turnover on downs or some punts, get their offense on the field with Jones and Adams, that would be disgusting. I don't really care for the Packers, so I'd hate it as well. But it makes sense. If you're going to move on from an elite player at a position, you might as well get another elite player at a different position, so you can kind of minimize the loss And I think that's what would happen if Rodgers would move on and then they would acquire Julio Jones. It would make sense. If you have the room to do it, if you have the money to do it, why not? Then the last team, I'm going to go with the Colts as the last team. Carson Wentz, as an Eagles fan, has proven hit or miss over the last 2 or 3 seasons. The Colts have cap space to bring Julio in as it is right now. They already have a lot of receivers on their roster, which could maybe conflict this idea, but they don't really have a veteran besides T.Y., and T.Y. only signed a 1-year contract. After next season, no one's really going to be there. I think it gives Michael Pittman another good veteran to look up to and learn from. This would kind of give Wentz more opportunity to make his fresh start in Indianapolis a success. That was another team that had a pretty close push in the playoffs, but just fell short. So I think that acquiring that kind of talent from Atlanta could definitely help them bring into next level. I think they lost in the divisional round last year, and then the Bills and Chiefs played in the AFC Championship. So I think that could maybe help the Colts get from divisional round to conference round. We'll see what happens in the next few weeks. Leave your guys' predictions and opinions on where Julio would best be suited at in the comments. Like I said in the intro, very intrigued to hear people in the football community, their opinions on this. But that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. And if you'd like to be notified when we post more videos on the channel, go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell as well. Take care, and we'll see you on the next video.